Alright. I want to do a quick video of some of the upgrades I've done to the URB. I'll try to make it quick, as you guys should probably be out riding URBs instead of watching me on YouTube. It's raining here in Southern California today, so that's why I'm not out riding this one, even though I got plans for that coming. So you can see I kind of have it torn apart here. Got the sleeves out and the battery out. I was going to start with the little brake light modification that I made. I'll do some close-ups of that. But basically I took the little marker light that comes with the URB and took the batteries out, drilled it out, wired it in with a USB cable, ran through right here next to the brake line, down and through and up with a USB Type A connector to what the battery provides. And then I crossed it into the kill switch trigger up here in the brake lever, and that way when you pull the brake, instead of killing power to the motor, it turns a little light on. So let me do some close-ups. You can see right here, got it drilled out, USB wire running through the frame, down and through, and down here got it kind of spliced in. It's soldered underneath there. I just wanted to wrap it up so it doesn't get too much moisture. And then right now, obviously with the battery out, you can see the loose wire comes up to the top where the battery connector would go. And then not much to show on the bars, but yeah, basically this wire is connected to a little switch that would normally kill the motor power, but now it turns on a brake light instead. So on the subject of lights, we got this little guy kind of mounted on here. Got it from Amazon, like most of my stuff. It's about $35, and it's a nice little LED brake light signal. It has some lasers built in. Runs a 18650 battery in there, so that's common, replaceable. I just did a little jerry rigging there to the seat frame to get it mounted. Comes with a remote, which will give you some better lighting here. Turn signals, on, off, and then the lasers. So I'll show some of that. Fire it up here. So this is in just default on. I'll switch through some of the options for the different markers. Blinker modes. Here's the third one. And then back to default. And turn signals look like this. And the fun part is the lasers. I'm going to turn those on, and you'll hopefully see some action here. Maybe I'll post some pictures, some night pictures that I took before, but it has two lines, one on each side, that project down. Almost like a laser level. Kind of marks your lane. So that's a pretty simple upgrade. Wireless remote, connects to it, and has a separate charging port, so just keep it charged, which I fail to do a lot of the times, but it's nice. Okay, hooked up the battery here just to show you the tail light function, or the brake light, I should say. Now, the way that the batteries were configured in there, I'm guessing this thing needs about 6 volts, and obviously the USB is pushing about 5, so you can see a little bit of fade and all sorts in there, but Maybe I'll insert an extra battery, make it work a little better. Alright, turn the other one off. And oh, headlight. Let's talk about that. So the one that comes with the URB-E, I think I have in a box, it would tend to slip. So, you know, mounted onto the handlebars here, as you're riding it would loosen and fall or point downwards. Instead, I've got this guy. About 2,000 some odd lumen, spot adjustable. There's a ton of these out on Amazon, eBay, wherever you want to get it. You can adjust the spot, focus it in a little bit, and then it just has a couple different modes, blinkers, and then SOS and whatever. Get whichever one fits your needs. Make sure it comes with a little handlebar mount and you'll be good to go. It's on its own battery, that way you don't have that USB cable running down to the battery. And originally I was going to run another USB down through the handlebars and splice it in with this one so that I could have USB power up at the handlebars. But I realized that the battery only outputs about maybe 500 milliamps from what I've measured. If I'm wrong about that, definitely throw a comment in there, correct me. But running everything off its own battery is what I found to be probably the best solution for now. Alright, I went ahead and mounted the, I guess you could call it factory headlight, but it's not URB-E's design or Urban 626's design. It's just, I'm sure something they found online or through a source and purchased and sold with it. So USB powered, obviously that would run down to the battery and then be dangling in between. Not my preference, and the light itself, it's bright enough, but I think mine gets a little brighter. Plus with the adjustable beam, it's a little nicer. The other thing I have on here is this mount. That's for a kind of a phone case slash pouch. Running a battery in there for a dash cam, as well as this shattered Note 2 I got from my folks. Kind of a media center, and that just kind of clicked on there. So you probably saw that in some of my other videos. If not, no big deal. I don't currently run it. One of the other things I did was make my own inserts, sleeves, what you want to call them. I basically purchased some green carbon fiber-esque looking vinyl, automotive vinyl, and then just because my stock sleeves were so scratched up, I just decided to use them as a backing and then tape them on the inside just real quick to keep them from moving around too much, popping loose. So kept it as one piece. It's really nice because keeps some tension on it so that when it's in there it stays on the outer edges. You can buy this vinyl in all sorts of different, I think I bought some black and there's white, I believe, as well, carbon look, and you can get them in all sorts of chameleon purples. Different colors. So it's one option. And since I'm on the topic of the inserts and sleeves, my light kit obviously would require some kind of see-through material. So I purchased some 0.30 millimeter Lexan Sheet. Cut that to fit and then covered it in this kind of what would you call that? Circular pattern privacy film you can buy for shower doors and front door windows and things that you want to kind of block the visibility on. It came out looking something like this, being fairly translucent I should say, without blocking out all the LED lighting. Probably make another set for the next lighting kit that I'm planning, but we'll have that in another video. Moving on, bolted on these kayak handles. Some washers, lock nut, keeps it on there, makes it nice to lift when it's folded up, or even while you're riding. You want to step up onto a curb real quick and just grab it without getting off, or when you're folded up and carrying it around. It's really nice. Use the back holes, puts the center of, I guess, weight a little bit more down the middle, and keeps you from having to lift it by these or these, and makes it nicer. And yeah, let's talk about this guy. Speaker, Bluetooth, waterproof. Probably saw it in the, if you watched the video with the lights, this was what was providing all the power to activate those lights via its
power on.
Fairly loud.
Connect me.
Fairly loud 2x5 watt cones pushing audio. It's rubberized. It's got this rubbery coating or sleeve, and pushed it up through the bottom. There's the bolts that you have to consider when putting it in there, so I took the sleeve off, put the sleeve in first, then slid the housing of the the speaker itself up in there, and then slipped the rubberized housing down onto it while it was in there. It was a bit of a pain, but got it done. Also, it came with a little notch there. It's kind of sticking out for a lanyard, or I don't know what you would use for a speaker this size, but I just kind of snipped that off, ground it off so that it would fit. Nice and loud. Connect to it Bluetooth. It's got supposedly some NFC functionality. Good luck slipping a phone in there to connect, but it's worked pretty good. And originally I had a zip tie right here just to hold it up, but now it's broken off, so it's set resting on the bolts. There's no way that thing's gonna come out of there. So works pretty good, and it's wedged in there really tight, so it doesn't move around too much. Works okay. URB-E's working on building a speaker. They said that's going to go on the lid up on the top section. Oh, I should probably mention, I notched this lid battery cover so that it would slip past the bolts, and then I notched it some more later when I was working with the lights to make some room for the lights. But anyway, Urban 626's design is going to have a speaker built into the top there, which is going to be really nice. I'll have to pick up a set of those, but for now this does the job. So after the Big Bear ride, where I was riding through slush and snow and all sorts, decided that some mud flaps would be nice. So a couple of different iterations of these Mucky Nuts brand mountain bike mud flaps. Turn the speaker off here as it's blinking.
Power off.
Got some in the front too. This is probably the more important one, so I left a lot more material on this one. I cut them up a little bit and I have a template that I can share. Obviously I've gone through a couple iterations. You can see the little cutout pieces that I did. Originally trying to make it look a little better, but failing. And then realizing that I was still getting extra spray, so added on to it a little bit with whatever leftover parts I had. But they help quite a bit. Basically they're just zip tied on there. They fit pretty good. If this speaker wasn't down and in the way, maybe I can move it here. I can show you how I kind of notched them. You can see the little cutouts so that it kind of clips onto the frame there. Just realizing how nice and dirty I am. Reminds me of the Big Bear ride. On the front one, same idea, just zip tying it through the built-in loopholes or loops and adding on this piece later when I realized, yeah, the water wasn't flying up directly, but as it flew forward it would hit the front of the bike as I was traveling. So did that. You can see the upgraded controller that Urban 626 put in for me. That's what comes with the Black Edition. Animal style is what they call it. Just had myself a couple of In-N-Out burgers, so I'm a little slow here. That's why. And so what is that? Well, constantly on my mind is the want to travel with my URB, and Urban 626 has mentioned gate checking, where right before you board the plane you would give up the URB to one of the staff members and let them check it in. And I didn't like that idea too much, being that it could get damaged and or whatever, so I'm constantly thinking about different ways to pack it. This is a folding handlebar setup I was working on, kind of gave up on. Also available on eBay or Amazon, and I think I got this on eBay actually. So this threads closed and then locks the handlebar in place, otherwise they're semi-free to just fold up. So what you can see right away is I ran out of space, so I got a little thumb throttle that I was going to swap off the what do you call it, the twist throttle, replace that with that. But being that they don't fold up all the way with any accessories on the handlebars, kind of killed it. And even though it folds up good enough, it's I just gave up on it. There were too many issues with trying to convert the URB over into a center post mount like most bicycles. So it would have added a lot of weight and bulk, and another thing I was looking into was adjusting the handlebar posts, steering posts back so that they're more in line with the chassis. As you are probably aware, Urban 626 allowed for that by pre-drilling different areas where you can mount this bottom bolt. 3 different settings. This is farthest forward, this is what they recommend, but at the farthest back setting it's actually more in line with the front part of the frame. What I ran into there was when you fully steer, the handlebar gets into your key, starts knocking your key, and went to have the key copied so I can maybe make it a little smaller, and that's when I found out that the keys are actually chipped, so it would be quite expensive to do, and kind of gave up on the whole thing. So maybe a little premature to mention, but I have talked about wanting to do a travel case, something that you could pack the URB-E inside, out of the view of the public, so that when you ship it or travel with it and check it, you know, it doesn't get beat up or stolen. This is a cool little product that's check bag size. So this would count as your checked luggage. URB-E does fit, kind of. Handlebars are a bit of a issue, so I'm working through some things there. I'm not going to go too deep into this one, as I'm still working on it, but it's a nice bag. Hard case, and I'm going to do some testing, some trials, and if you're wondering what all this is, it actually turns into a bike trailer. So it comes with a set of inflatable bicycle wheels that kind of bolt on, and then you just hook it in behind there. But more on this later. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you don't have one of these, go out and get one. They're amazing, and I've been riding it to work non-stop last week, and the rain is the only thing that stopped me this week, so have a great time. See you later.